Now I move to May 2006 problem. May 2006 problem. See, X is an individual. X is a individual. एसएससी कौन है? इंडिविजुअल है, कंपनी नहीं है. तो उसका क्या क्या एसेट्स है देख लो. रेसिडेंशियल हाउस एट न्यू दिल्ली 25 लाख. वैल्यूएशन करने का जरूरत नहीं, सोच लो वो इंक्लूड करना नहीं करना. वन रेजिडेंशियल हाउस है तो उसको एग्जम्पशन देते साहब, मगर आप पूरा पढ़ना साहब. और कुछ रेजिडेंशियल हाउसेस है तो उसका वैल्यू ज्यादा है तो हम डिसाइड करना पड़ता किस हाउस को आप एग्जम्पशन लेना चाहते और किस एसेट्स को आप नेट वेल्थ में डालना चाहते. नेक्स्ट, रेसिडेंशियल हाउस एट आगरा 15 lakhs. Plot of land comprising of an area of 450 square meters at Mumbai. The value is 60 lakhs. So you don't take for house, you take for this particular plot and take the exemption for this plot, so that those two residential houses 25 lakhs and 10 lakhs are included in the net wealth. Pura padna. Then house at New Delhi exclusively used for carrying on the business. If exclusively used for carrying on the business, it is not to be treated as an asset. Commercial complex at Agra. Commercial complex is not an asset. लिख लो, commercial complex is not an asset. आगरा में हो, हैदराबाद में हो, कहीं भी हो, कमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स इज नॉट एन एसेट. क्योंकि तुम देश सेवा कर रहे हैं कमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करके. क्या देश सेवा साहब? यू आर अलोइंग अदर्स ऑल्सो टू डू द बिजनेस. इट इज हुज ड्यूटी? गवर्नमेंट. किसको सौंप रहे हैं? वो आउटसोर्स कर रहे हैं इंडिविजुअल को. तो नेचुरली कुछ तो कुछ एग्जाम्पशन देना ही पड़ता ऐसा. क्योंकि जब हम शुरुआत करें ये टॉपिक को तब मैं क्या बताए, जनरली प्रोडक्टिव एसेट्स आर नॉट बीइंग इंक्लूडेड इन द एसेट्स. देन फ्रेंड्स, रेजिडेंशियल हाउस एट चेन्नई लेट आउट फॉर 335 days, more than 300 days, minimum 300 days, not an asset. Then shares in private limited company, not an asset. Cash in hand 3 lakhs, 50,000 तक तो हम दे देते, एग्जाम्पशन 2.5 को इंक्लूड कर देते. Then friends, we have, what is it? That is कैश इन हैंड हो गया. गोल्ड ज्वेलरी है, गोल्ड ज्वेलरी as long as it is held as an investment, it is to be treated as an asset. Loan borrowed for purchase of the land in Mumbai, if that land is exempted, this loan is not allowed to be deducted. Loan borrowed for purchase of shares in private limited company, when the shares are not assets, this loan is not allowed to be deducted. Loan borrowed for purchase of gold jewelry, jewelry is included in the asset, so this loan we will allow it to be deducted. Got it? तो दोस्तों सक्सेसफुली हम क्या करें, वी हैव डन विथ प्रॉब्लम्स वेयर स्टूडेंट इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड टू राइट एनीथिंग, लिसन ओनली. और दो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं कहां पे यू हैव टू एग्जिबिट योर थियरेटिकल नॉलेज एंड वर्किंग नॉलेज. और दो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं मेरे पास, वो प्योरली यू हैव टू वर्कआउट वैल्यूएशन ऑफ इमोबल प्रॉपर्टी. और वन मोर प्रॉब्लम है वर्किंग आउट प्रॉब्लम ओनली पार्टनरशिप के ऊपर. कुल मिला के 5 प्रॉब्लम्स करे तो मेरा ये एफर्ट कंप्लीट हो जाता. फ्रेंड्स, वी विल डू a problem which tests your both theoretical knowledge, of course not much of a working kind of thing. First, try to understand the question. Rajesh, an Indian citizen, migrated and settled down in USA from 1981. एक आदमी बोल के राजेश है, राजेश बोल के एक आदमी है, उन्होंने 1981 से USA, he is staying in USA, had the following assets and debts. He died on 31/12/2011. मर गए आदमी. He had appointed a firm of solicitors at Bombay as his executors. Probably he is knowing his death. He has appointed Bombay lawyers as the executors. Particulars of his assets in USA: immobile property 33 lakhs, bank deposits 4 lakhs, motor car 5 lakhs, debts 1 lakh. In India, he has got immobile property of 50 lakhs, bank deposits of 3 lakhs out of the remittances from the USA. After the administration of the estate of the assets left according to the terms of the will were distributed as under. How the executors has distributed assets in USA to the son residing with him in the USA, they have given. Assets in India, they are to be given to the widow. Indicate on whom and what items of wealth the assessment under the wealth tax has to be made for the valuation as on 31st March 2012, on which date estate is still under the administration. That means executors has not parted away with the assets as on 31st March. Actually, according to his will, these people need to give Indian properties to the widow and foreign properties to the son, but it is being given to the executors. Executors has not completed that particular distribution. As on 31st March, still these assets, all the assets are there in the hands of the executors only. Now the question asks you, in whose hands it is going to get taxed. Here straight away the expectation here is, do you know 19A of the Wealth Tax Act? 19A of the Wealth Tax Act deals with what? The obligations of the executors under the wealth tax. What is stated? The net wealth of the estate of the deceased person shall be chargeable in the hands of the executors, and the executor shall be treated for this particular purpose as an individual. And similarly, what is the residential status? What is the status of that deceased person? The same status will come to the executor also. So in the given problem, since the executor's status is non-resident, the deceased status is non-resident, the executor's status also will be non-resident. And the assessment of the executor under this section shall be separately made apart from their individual assessments of their own health, wealth, not health. So here try to understand, since the deceased is a non-resident, in case of a non-resident, in respect of the assets which are located outside India, they are not to be included in the wealth to be taxed in India. So accordingly, in respect of the foreign properties, they will not be included in the wealth of the executors. In respect of the properties in India, what properties he has got? Immobile property, one immobile property anyhow exempted, and bank deposits are anyhow not assets. So there is no problem, nothing is going to be taxed. In these lines you have to develop. Earlier also when I discussed theory questions with you, I made the point very clear. You should write in your refer before exam notes what are the obligations of the executor. 19A is very, very important, because many times I observed in this past 25 examinations, this particular area being tested. Of course, keeping the time factor, I am not asking you to write. Had the time permitted, I love to make you to write. Then friends, now I move to discuss another question which also involves more of a theory, less of working. Listen the problem. This is being tested in May 2009 new syllabus. That is, Mr. Neeraj provides the following particulars and asks you to work out the amount of the net wealth to be declared by him in the wealth tax return for the assessment year 2012 and 13. Friends, value of motor car 5 lakhs. Motor car is an asset. Value of motorcycle 50,000. Motorcycles, lorries, buses, ambulances, these things, only Jeep, Jonga, motor car are coming under the motor car. Not two-wheelers and three-wheelers also. Then a house of which ground floor is used by him for his business, first floor is a self-occupied for his residence. Self-occupied, one property exempted, and remaining half, since it is used for the business, that is also not to be included. Jewelry of 12 lakh purchased on 30th 3/2012 by his wife out of the funds given by him of 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs and his son 6 lakhs. He has given to the wife 6 lakhs and a son 6 lakhs, and put together the wife purchased that particular jewelry. Since these are the assets purchased out of the cash given by the SSE, they shall be deemed to be the assets in the hands of the SSE himself. So entire 12 lakh of the entire 12 lakh will it be included. Only thing is that the wife took 6 lakhs from him, 6 lakhs from his son. If 6 lakhs is taken from his son, then whatever the wife she has taken from the son and purchased, that is not included in his wealth. Only out of the money which he has given, if the wife purchased an asset, in respect of that asset, that asset becomes the deemed wealth of this SSE. So you should be carefully reading that particular sentence. And then he has got shares in various companies. Shares are not the assets. So two theory problems, theory plus problematic, we completed. Then now we need to move to do three problems. First and second problem are on immobile properties. Third problem is on partnership firms. Problem, I expect you to write the problem as well as the solution. So write down the problem. First we will do a small problem, then we move to the big problem. Write down the problem, friends. This is given in May 2010 new syllabus. NKP Limited engaged in industrial activity, has furnished the following particulars, of its assets, as at the valuation date, compute the net wealth tax liability. That is, first, 1 hectare of the vacant land, was allotted to the company, was allotted to the company by the state government, by the state government for industrial purpose, for industrial purpose in May 2006, in May 2006, on permanent lease basis, on permanent lease basis, on payment of non-refundable premium, on payment of non-refundable premium of rupees 4 lakhs, non-refundable premium of 4 lakhs. The terms of allotment, includes that in the event of lessee transfers the lease, in the event of lessee transfers the lease, 50% of unearned increase, 50% of unearned increase in the value of the land, should be made over to the lessor, Then friends, the value of the land, as on March 2012, is 50 lakhs. Of course friends, you have two more points in this particular problem, but let me first complete the discussion on this point, so that it gives some timing spacing. Otherwise your hands gets pained, and looking at you my hands are getting pained. दोस्तों ये क्या है? लैंड है. ऑलरेडी यू आर गुड एट वैल्यूएशन एज पर शेड्यूल 3. अर्बन लैंड वैल्यूएशन कैसा होना, उसका मार्केट वैल्यू देखना पड़ेगा. हु सेड सो? रूल 20 सेज सो. See, here unearned increase, that is only with respect to the building and land appurtenant thereto. There that principle of unearned increase. Then one more thing is, this is a leasehold land, and for industrial purpose. But what is stated? When it is being allotted? May 2006 में. A land held for industrial purpose is not an asset for only 2 years. 2 years गुजर गए तो क्या होता? उसको एसेट मानना, उसका वैल्यू क्या देना? 50 lakhs देना ही पड़ता. Then the next part of the question, write down so that you can feel it, and then solution I leave it to you. I don't expect you to write the solution. The company is a partner of the firm. The company is a partner of the firm with 30% of shares, with 30% of the shares, whose net assets is 150 lakhs. Of course, it goes without saying as on the valuation date. Then its capital as on the date is 20 lakhs. Its capital as on the date is 20 lakhs. Out of the total capital of 70 lakhs. Out of the total capital of 70 lakhs. What is this, friend? See, what is the total wealth of that particular partnership firm? 150 lakhs. Total wealth of that particular partnership firm where this company is a partner is 150 lakhs. Up to the capital contribution, it is to be distributed in the capital ratio. Any surplus is to be distributed in the profit sharing ratio. तो इसका कैपिटल कितना है? 20 lakhs. Now out of the total 150, 70 lakhs of the capital, if you remove, balance is how much? 80. In that 80 lakhs, 30% constitutes how much? 24. So 20 plus 24, totally 44 lakhs you have to include in the wealth of this particular company as interest in the partnership firm. So this is not a complex situation, simple problem. A company can be a partner in a partnership firm. So in case of the SSE is having an interest in the partnership firm, how to value it? What you have learned? Simple principle. What is the wealth of that particular firm you have to see? What is the capital of that particular firm you have to see? What is the surplus of wealth over the capital you have to see? 150 lakhs is the wealth, 70 lakhs is the capital, 150 minus 70 is 80 lakhs. That surplus must be given to the partners in their profit sharing ratio. This particular company is 30% partner, so 80 lakhs के ऊपर 30% बोले तो 24 lakhs. And what is their capital? Capital is 20, 20 plus 24 is 44, you have to include. तीसरा चीज लिख लो. Third, it has let out a building. It has let out a building with effect from 1st October 2011. With effect from 1st October 2011 at a monthly rent of 1 lakh for a period of 10 years. For a period of 10 years. Tenant has made a deposit. Tenant has made a deposit of 3 lakhs. Next, annual corporation tax. Annual corporation tax 1 lakh is borne by the tenant. 1 lakh is borne by the tenant. Building is on a freehold land. Building is on a freehold land. Then written down value of the building is 80 lakhs. Friends, first you should understand that here the SSE is a company. For the company, that the principle of one house being exempted is not there. You have to see the schedule 3 value. Compare the same with the book value. If it is more than 20%, you have to take the schedule 3 value. Book value here is what? 80 lakhs. Written down value is how much? 80 lakhs. So how do we go about valuing that particular building as per rule 327? Not much of a complication. First, कब दिए उन्होंने रेंट को? 1st October 2011. कितने महीने? 6 months. So what is the annual rent? That is, what is the rent for that 6 months? 6 into 1 lakh is equal to 6 lakhs. Right? There is no municipal value which is given. What do you need to do, friends? If municipal taxes are paid by the tenant, it is to be added back. 1 lakh per annum, so for 6 months, 50,000. You have to add back. And then, whether any deposit is given, how much is a deposit? Deposit is 3 lakhs. It is not exceeding 3 months rent. So no interest is to be added. So totally kul mila ke how much? 6 lakhs 50,000. So 6 lakh 50,000 for the let out period. What is that we want is for annual, what is it? 6 lakh 50,000 is for 6 months, means per annum how much it is? First you have to calculate for the let out period, convert the same to the full year, 13 lakhs. That you call it as gross maintainable rent. From the gross maintainable rent, what is deducted? 15% standard deduction. 13 lakhs into 15% works out to be how much? 13 lakhs into 15%. 13 lakhs into 15%, what it is? 1 lakh 85. Then what is a municipal taxes? 1 lakh. 1 lakh plus 1 lakh 85 is how much? 2 lakh 85. From total 13 lakhs 2 lakh 85 निकाल दिए तो कितना? 10 lakhs 5,000. 13 lakhs से 2 lakh 85,000 निकाल दिए तो डिडक्ट करे सो तो कितना था? 10 lakhs 15,000. तो कहीं ना कहीं आपका वो 1,85,000 कैलकुलेशन है ना, वो गलत है. 13 लाख के ऊपर 15% कितना निकलता? डू द कैलकुलेटर, कैलकुलेशन करके बताओ. आप सब फाइनल स्टूडेंट्स हैं. 13 lakhs इंटू 15% कितना? वो ही है. Yesterday night when I did the problem, when it is coming 195, just in 6 hours how the value on 13 lakhs 15% will come to 1 lakh 85 दोस्त. तो 1 lakh 95 और 1 lakh is the municipal tax, कुल मिला के 2 lakh 95,000. तो वो 13 lakhs में से 2 lakh 95,000 निकाल दिए तो 10 lakhs 5,000. You are not bothered about the solution part. We are concept part. We are bothered. तो 10 lakh 5,000 क्या है दोस्त? NMR. NMR बोले तो net maintainable rent. This is on which land? Freehold land. So what is the capitalization rate? 12.5. So 10 lakh 5,000 into 12.5, how much it is? Too big a question you are asking, sir. That is, we are not coming to the class with calculator. Don't worry, I am also not asking for it. 1 crore 25 lakh 62,500. What is your book value? 80 lakhs. So your schedule 3 value is more than 20% of the book value or less than 20% of the book value. 80 lakhs के ऊपर 20% कर दो, so 96 lakhs. But your schedule 3 value is much more than that, so happy well you take the schedule 3 value. So any problem? No problem. So I think you are now well relieved. But you see the next question on that is purely a question on your valuation of the immobile property. Problem छोटा है तो solution बड़ा होता. So whenever you look at big problems, be happy. Solution is small. When you see the small, the solution will be big. That is the reason why our elders says what? In Telugu there is a saying, Pottivadu Gattivadu. Right? Short is always sweet. Okay? So, ले लो. Question May 2009 question. You see how big solution it will be. Question is very simple question. लिख लो. X has a house property. X has a house property in Delhi. In Delhi. Delhi is a metro city, as all you know, which was lying vacant. Which was lying vacant. You are right. X has a house property in Delhi which was lying vacant for last 3 years. He constructed the property in 1991. He constructed the property in 1991 at a cost of 40 lakhs. At a cost of 40 lakhs. Then he has let out the same on monthly rent of 30,000 for a period of 3 years. For a period of 3 years from January 1st 2012. From January 1st 2012. Then quarterly corporation tax is 30,000. Now he took a premium of 1,20,000 from tenant. And also security deposit of rupees 1 lakh. Security deposit of rupees 1 lakh. The house was constructed on a land. The house was constructed on a land measuring 4,000 square feet. Measuring 4,000 square feet. It has 3 floors measuring 960 square feet. Measuring 960 square feet. Compute the value of house property. Compute the value of the house property as on the valuation date. As on the valuation date. Of course, keeping the time factor, let me discuss and you listen the approach. Writing part, anyhow you do carry it out. First क्या होना? January 1st he has given on rent. January 1st 2012. 3 months rent, each month 30,000, 3 months, 3 into 30,000 is equal to how much? 90,000. Municipal rental value is not given. So straight away rent received or receivable. 3 into 30,000, 90,000. Then security deposit more than 90,000. What is the security deposit दोस्तों? 1,20,000. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? That is, you have a security deposit of 1 lakh. So on that 1 lakh at the rate of 15%. Not only on just 1 lakh minus 90,000, 10,000 के ऊपर नहीं दोस्तों, पूरा 1 lakh के ऊपर 15% for 3 months it works out to be 3,750. On total 1 lakh of the deposit, 15% let out period is how much? 3 months. So 3,750. Premium 120 premium he has taken. For how many years? 3 years. 1,20,000 of premium for 3 years. Means for 1 year is how much? 40,000. For 3 months how much it is? 40,000 divided by 12 into 3. Only 10,000. So that 10,000 you will add. कुल मिला के कितना होगा? 1,03,750. Our effort is not to copy, only to discuss. 1,03,750. This is only for 3 months. You have to convert it into the full 12 months. That gives you the gross maintainable rent. 1,03,750 is for 3 months. For full 12 months, how much it will be? Some 4 lakhs odd. 4,15,000. Don't feel bad. Solution is before me. Right? That's the reason why I am making the calculation fast. 4,15,000. From there you have to reduce what? Straight away, what is it? 15% on 4,15,000, 62,250. Municipal taxes, whether borne by the tenant or by the landlord. Of course, here landlord only is doing. Otherwise, we would have added there to the calculation of the gross maintainable rent. So 1,20,000. Then net maintainable rent is coming to 2,32,750. And then friends, since this is on which land? Freehold land or leasehold land? This is on freehold land or leasehold land. It is not being taken on lease. So it's a freehold land. 12.5 से multiply करना तो 29,09,375. What is the cost of acquisition? 40 lakhs. This is a property constructed after 31/3/1974. Then what rule 325 says? In respect of the properties which are constructed after 31/3/1974, it is a NMR into capitalization factor or cost of acquisition, whichever is higher. What is higher? Your 40 lakhs is higher. So 40 lakhs you have to take it as a, what is it, capitalized value of the, that is what is the value of that particular property. Now adjustment for that particular value per unbuilt area. See, 4,000 square meters is there. In that only 960, 3 floors dal diye uno. Don't multiply 960 with 3 because area is only 960. So unbuilt area is how much? 4,000 minus 960, 3,040 square feet of unbuilt area is there. It is in Delhi. Delhi mein permitted unbuilt area is how much? 4,000 into 60%. That comes to 2,400. So excess over the permitted area is how much? 3,040 minus 2,400. It works out to be 640. 3,040 minus 2,400, 640 square feet. 640 must be divided with what? Total aggregate area of 4,000. 640 divided by 4,000, how much it is? If calculator is there, it is 16%. Otherwise also it is 16%. So if it is 15 to 20%, तो कितना इंक्रीज करना वैल्यू को? 40% करना. तो तुम्हारा वैल्यू कितना है? 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs के ऊपर 40% कितना होता? जमाना से 16 lakhs हो रहा, तो 40 plus 16 lakhs is equal to 56 lakhs. So 56 lakhs is the value. So like that you have to do. I think you have done with this particular problem. There is no much of this thing if you know that a stepwise mechanism. And idea should come in the exam that if it is a property constructed on or after 31/3/1974, then the NMR into capitalization factor or the actual cost, whichever is higher, that I have to take and all. This is a let out property, not that exception or what is it, section 7 to come into play. Section 7 or exception comes into play only in a situation where it is held completely for residential purpose throughout 12 months just before the up to the valuation date. Then friends, with that immobile property valuations enough we have discussed. Partnership firm, there is a problem, but that problem is of the year. I'll tell you the year. It is of May 2005. Of course, keeping the time factor, I only discuss. I can't other way around make you to write. Friends, try to bear with this kind of situation, because here our approach is not on quantity, our approach is on quality. Ultimately, for a final student, I need not sit by his side to make him to do the problem. They can very well do it provided they are clear with the concepts. There is a balance sheet given, some adjustments are given, full one length question, one paper length question. If I make you to write 20 minutes writing program only. Let us not do such kind of heinous crimes on the students. Look at, I'll read the problem. X, Y, Z are partners in a particular partnership firm running manufacturing unit in a municipal town of Siliguri, having population of more than 10,000 located in the state of West Bengal. Given below is a balance sheet of the firm. In the balance sheet, we are more bothered about what? Onto the asset side. You have a urban land. Urban land के ऊपर आपका राय क्या है? Book value 300. Below there is an adjustment. Of course, in that particular balance sheet you have urban land construction not allowed. Urban land on which construction is not allowed is not an asset. So, two urban lands are valued by the independent valuers at 550 lakhs and 50 lakhs respectively. So, in case of the urban land, it is a market value or the value ascertained by the valuer. So, 550 lakhs I will take to the net wealth. Factory land. Factory land. Will the factory land, will it be treated as an asset? See, factory land is not an asset because it is used for the business. Write down in your this thing, factory land is not an asset. Similar to your factory building and all, प्रोडक्टिव यूज के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं ना, मैं पहले ही बताया ना, प्रोडक्टिव यूज के लिए है तो वो एसेट्स को हम इंक्लूड नहीं कर रहा. Then residential house 300. As far as the residential house is concerned, the value of the residential house as per the rule 3 of schedule 3 given in the adjustment is 350 lakhs. 300 के ऊपर 20% लगा दो दोस्तों, 360. So your schedule 3 value is less than 20% of the that is less than 120% of the book value, so you will allow to take only the book value, not the schedule 3 value. This principle already I made you to write. Then plant, it's not an asset. Factory shed, it's not an asset. Lorry, it's not a motor vehicle. I think since all these things we have discussed, I am not making an elaborate discussion. Stocks, current asset, not an asset. Gold and silver. Gold and silver, is these people are engaged in a, what is it, jewelry business? No. So in that case, it's an investment. It's the market value is 1100. So I take 1100 there included in the net wealth. Sundry debtors, no. Advance tax, no. Cash in hand, also no. Why? Cash in hand is no. Cash in banks is not to be included. Recorded in the balance sheet, it's a partnership. So doubts will come there in the exam. Okay. It's a business asset? No. Only in the business balance sheet, if you look at urban lands, motor vehicles and jewelry, if it is kept as an investment. That's it. Only those things you have to take. Don't get confused. And then with that the gross wealth is coming to 1950. Then the debts, as far as the debts is concerned, term loan is there on the balance sheet liability side, and here what is stated is the term loan for plant and machinery, it is 300 lakhs. So that's why plant and machinery is not included, so that's why this particular loan is also not deducted. And urban lands of the plot, for that purpose 700 lakhs. So since for the 2 plots you took 700 lakhs, so for one plot it is 350 lakhs, to the tune of 350 lakhs they are deducting from the, what is it, the gross wealth. So the net wealth is how much? 1600. So this is 1600, how do you distribute among the partners? What is the total capital? Total capital is 1000. So from 1600, 1000 if you reduce, surplus is how much? 600. That surplus will be distributed among the partners in which ratio? In their profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio given in the problem? 2:2:1. In that way they will distribute and then find out the what is their share in that particular interest in that particular partnership firm. In this you have an urban land included. So in that urban land of what is the urban land, friends? Your 550 minus 350, how much it is? 4. And there is a residential property also. What is the residential property? 300. I already told one thing to you, that in case if the partnership firm's net wealth is having a residential property, then calculate in the normal way the net wealth. After that the net wealth is being distributed among the partners, you take in that particular residential property. In case if they don't have the individual residential properties whose value is more than that particular share in that particular residential property, then they can claim the exemption, because for one residential property individual can claim the exemption, whether it is used for residential or commercial purposes. So happy well, in that 300, 2:2:1 is how much? 300 ke upar 2:2:1 is 120, 120, 60. That 120, 120, 60 must be reduced from the net wealth. Because urban land के लिए भी हम ले सकते, मगर वहाँ तो कुछ भी नहीं बताए ना, it is less than 500 square meters or not, nothing is being stated. So happy well, we have taken only the residential property and that particular exemption. So this is the point with which I started stating in the points, which important points I made you to write the point, that in case of a partner's interest in that particular partnership firm, you are having then that partnership firm's net wealth is including one residential property. With respect to the share in that particular residential property, they can claim the exemption, provided in their individual net wealths they don't have residential properties, or they have residential properties but whose value is less than this particular share in the residential property of that particular partnership firm, then like this you have to do. Of course, this point I am leaving it to you. I can only give you the question number. May 2005 is the question. There you just do it, and with that we are almost done with the our topic of the wealth tax. But friends, if you still have a little bit of the patience, I have one or two questions which I left in my theory discussion, which I would like to quickly sum up and close it. One is, what are the provisions of wealth tax, and what are the provisions under the wealth tax relating to the assessment and collection of the taxes? Assessment and collection of the taxes in respect to the persons residing outside India. Non-residents ke assessments and collection, section 22 deals with that particular subject. In respect of a non-resident, agent is assessable. Who is an agent? First you should know. Who is an agent? Any person who is being employed by the non-resident, or any person through whom non-resident is in receipt of the income, or any person who is in possession of the custody of the assets of the non-resident, then that person is called as an agent. Before you serve the notice on the agent for the assessment in respect of the wealth of the non-resident, you should give an opportunity to that particular agent, why he should not be treated as an agent. Then agent will be paying the taxes on behalf of the non-resident. He can very well recover that amount from the non-resident. Tomorrow, let us suppose I am the agent for the non-resident, I pay the taxes on behalf of the non-resident. If that non-resident asks me, who asked you to pay? Then I can take a certificate from the department, and that certificate, showing that certificate, I can hold the assets of the non-residents. So these are all being well stated in section 22. So kindly read section 22, because you prepare so much, finally these type of questions may creep in. See, you don't need to by verbatim, you have to by heart it and all. At least these type of questions, if the points you are able to write, that is enough, we will award you the marks. Then 17.1, what is the time limit for issuing the notice under section 17.1? This is more like your 147, reassessments. Under the income tax law, what you studied, notice for reassessment can happen up to how many years? 4 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. Of course, if the income escaping the assessment is more than a threshold limit, then up to 6 years also notice can be given. Like that here also 17 says what? That is, even for 1 rupee of wealth being escaping the assessment, up to 4 years notice can be given for reassessment. For assessing officer to give the notice after 4th year, in the 5th and 6th year he can give the notice only when the income escaping the assessment is likely to be an amount to the tune of 10 lakhs or more than 10 lakhs. So if they found that income wealth escaping the assessment is 10 lakhs or more than 10 lakhs, the notice for reassessment can be given even during the 5th year and the 6th year. But without any amount of the wealth, even for 1 rupee of the wealth escaping the assessment, up to 4th year they can give notice at any time for the reassessment. This 4 years or 6 years are to be calculated from which year, from the end of which date? From the end of the relevant assessment year is a point to be well remembered. Already I have discussed this particular point. What is the liability of the transferee of the properties in certain cases? If the transferor is not, in whose hands it is being clubbed, if he is not paying, department can well recover the money from the transferee is a point. Similarly, chartered accountant, when he can act as a registered valuer, right? This is of some professional opportunity. What is it, friends? He must be in practice for not less than 10 years and the gross receipts from such practice should not be less than 50,000. If he is formally employed in the post of the government as a gazetted officer or in the post under any employment carrying of not less than 2,000 per month, very less. Chartered accountant, what is the expectation for you to become a registered valuer? If you are employed earlier, you should have been employed at least for 2,000 rupees per month job karna vaisa hai, to you are already retired or resigned from such employment after continuing for 10 years, not less than 10 years, then you can think of becoming a registered valuer under the wealth tax. With that professional opportunity being discussed with you, that is, I conclude this particular mega topic of the wealth tax. Hope the students might have enjoyed, and I feel great in case if you say that, sir, we are into the clarity situation. That is, if you say perfect situation, I will be double unhappy, because such a perfection can come not by anybody's teaching, it is your own feel and your own hard work alone can make you to pass. Thank you.